What's good, everybody? This is Generation 71 coming back to you with some more Let's Play Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. Last time, sorry, for some reason it wouldn't work. Yeah, whatever. Last time we ended up talking about 1.5 women in my life, and today we're going to go over the other half and the other woman. So, as I left off last time, we had a lot going. We had a lot that we were dealing with and kind of affected us and how we dealt with things, and yeah, that's life. But I mean, we did have a lot of good times. One of the biggest things that I do remember, it was actually kind of a cool situation. We had kind of gotten on this kick, be like, okay, well, it's kind of boring just sitting around. We need to go do more stuff, and everybody goes to that, type of thought process every now and then. I'm just gonna wait a couple more seconds here. And so our thought process was, I swear, if I still get here too early, okay, I was about to freak the F out, brah. Okay, we ended up going to this pizza place that, unfortunately, in town, no longer is around because they had some great pizza. It was like deep dish pizza, but it wasn't Chicago style. But it was pretty freaking delicious. Whoa, that's a big slowdown. Let's make this hella easy now. Yeah. But, yeah, it had some delicious pizza. And everything was just going good and pretty freaking delicious. And then all of a sudden we hear like this loud music come out of outside. And since we are in a college town, there was a campus nearby, and they, I guess, we're getting ready for their homecoming parade. And they were trying to advertise it by actually going through the whole city. And that was actually a leap of faith right there. And I'm gonna sneeze. I'm trying not to sneeze on camera. Actually gonna go over here and go over here, and yeah, that's for getting cocky. Yeah, so they actually came in with their marching band and went through the whole kind of like, it's a dining district kind of with a bunch of bars. Like, we call it downtown, Old Town. It's just a section with a bunch of shops and a bunch of restaurants and a bunch of bars. I mean, that's really all it is. But yeah, and that was a cool night because we were just like, hey, this is actually kind of cool. We get dinner and a show type of thing. So, and there's just like little moments like that just made everything else seem kind of like silly at the time that we were dealing with. It's just like, when you have good times like this, it makes everything else a lot easier to deal with. But yes, unfortunately, eventually it didn't work out. I mean, it happens, and it was kind of foolish the way things happened, because apparently she had thought that I still wanted to be with my first girlfriend, so that's why she actually pulled away. And what kind of sucked too is she actually ended up getting with her manager at her work, which I had always known kind of liked her that way. And it was just like, well, I'm gonna let it be. I'm not gonna try to be that guy. But I mean, that's what made me so insecure for the future. It's just like, well, I knew it was gonna happen, and look what ended up happening. So, and I mean, I don't blame her. If anything, I feel sorry for her, because then the guy ended up just kind of using her. So it's just one of those things where I guess that's one of those perfect moments where, I guess, not to get on my high horse, and I'm gonna get this, where everything was okay, and then obviously she wanted something that wasn't necessarily, it's one of those things where she wanted what she couldn't have, but then when she had it, she really couldn't have it because, yeah, it just didn't feel the same way, or the guy didn't feel the same way. But I mean, again, I do feel bad for her, because I mean, in a way, I kind of know how it feels to not be wanted by the person you want to be wanted by. And so, I mean, with her and with other people, and we'll get to that eventually. Oh no, okay, I wanted to get those 1-ups. But yeah, so that's how that led to that. And then apparently, not only, I guess we both got kind of insecure at the end, because then also I was talking to the third girlfriend at the time, but we were just friends, and she was actually going through a rough time too. I seem to have this syndrome where I want to help people, and I mean, she was going through a tough time, and she had some suicidal tendencies, so I felt the need to kind of help her out. And then she saw it as something different, something more, worse than that. And at the time, honestly, it wasn't. But then after, it kind of was like, well, maybe I could help her out, make her a little happy if I actually, because it turned out that she did like me, and then wanted to obviously date me. And then it was one of those things where, I mean, well, if it'll make her happy and stop her from having so many suicidal tendencies, sure, why not, type of thing. But it's one of those things where I gotta learn that first off, I can't be the knight in shining armor for every single girl that I meet. It just doesn't happen that way. Second off, you also got to understand that in those type of situations, you can't, in a sense, put yourself at risk, if that makes any sense, to kind of, oh, hello, to, I'm just trying to figure out how to put this. That is not a solution to the problem, pretty much. That's what I mean. Because, yeah, sure, it's kind of like one of those sayings where, yeah, you could teach a guy to fish and feed him for life, yada, 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 all that. That's essentially what that is, where you can kind of try to give a certain moment of happiness, but unless you solve the problems of why the person is depressed, you're really kind of just not only hurting them, but hurting yourself. So that is something that I have, in a sense, learned. I mean, I still have some times, or have had times since then, where I'm like, oh, I can do this and it'll be fine because, I'm making the person happy. But sometimes you got to learn that it hurts the person more than it helps. And this is one of those castles where it's good to have most of the blocks actually unlocked by now. So, and it's Nintendo's way of promoting, be like, hey, there's more exploration to be done. Damn it. Okay. We should be good from here. So, I mean, that's kind of like the gist of the third girlfriend. And after she ended up, obviously, or I guess, well, the story with that was she was actually going away. Like, I'm not going to say what because that's too specific. But she was going to go away to actually do something. And she wouldn't be back for possibly a year, possibly more than a year. And so at that time, I was thinking, well, I mean, honestly, it's unfair to both of us to actually do that because, I mean, I honestly don't believe long distance ever works. I mean, it's too hard to kind of generate a relationship out of long distance because you're not there. I mean, plain and simple, yeah, sure, you can call, you can Skype, you can do whatever, but you don't have that, I guess, that warm feeling that you need when, maybe you're sad or you need somebody to hold. And that's something that can never be generated through any sort of communications. And it sucks, but it's true. And so that's why I thought it'd be unfair, because if there's a time where she needed me, I wouldn't be there for her. And hearing the stories that she's told me, it was probably better that I didn't actually, keep to relationship, because she had gone through so much, and if I wasn't able to be there, then it would have probably generated more problems. And so in a sense, it was probably good that I guess I decided, because she didn't want to do it, but I decided what we did. And in a way, she was able to find happiness, but in a way, she was able to find more pain too. And I mean, I don't know what more I could really say about that. Just, I'm really sorry she did go through the stuff that she had to go through afterwards. But everybody goes through their sorts of pain, and I'm not saying, it was like, oh, her fault, she initiated it. But it was more of like, there were some choices that led up to where it was. So it's one of those things where you have to know what some of those outcomes are, at least think that outcome was a possibility. That's the way I see it. And I still feel sorry that she had to go through everything that she had to go through. But, I mean, after we ended up ending it, there was this whole limbo time. And then what really hurt also was, I guess, she ended up getting used to by her best friend. And it was just like, well, I mean, it kind of sucks that, that was your so-called best friend, and now you lost your best friend as well. And, yeah, that was just the whole situation, too. So, but, I mean, that is pretty much the story of the women in my life, like the serious relationships. Now, there's been other quote-unquote women that I have encountered. I want to see if I can hit this guy. No, I can't. Oh, I can. Sweet. There's been other women in my life. I'm not going to go too much into that, but, I mean, they know who they are, and they may be watching. That looks so weird. It looks really weird. Okay, whatever. And they may be watching this right now because I know at least one of the ex-girlfriends are possibly watching this. I'm not sure because honestly, we kind of ended on bad terms, which, I mean, I don't blame them. But so I mean, if one of them is watching, then who knows? Maybe one of the girls that I'm thinking about is watching as well. And then all I can really say about that, because I don't feel necessarily comfortable about talking about specifics, but I mean, they know who they are, and then just trying to think of something to talk about really general. I can't really say anything like really general because each one was a different situation. Where I think the one that kind of pops out to me the most, and again, if she's watching this, she knows exactly what I'm talking about. Where, and it's weird how a lot of the relationships generated out of friendships, which in a way is kind of good, but in a way is kind of bad. Because first off, I mean, you do have that basis of friendship. You're there for each other, you trust each other, and so it is working so well that an attraction is generated, and then it just kind of went off from there. Now, I guess you could say my problem was ever since my insecurity of the past ones, I never could believe that anybody could actually feel, a certain way about me as I did them. And, whether that's insecurity and it's foolish to think about, or whether it's, legit to think about, to this day, I'll never know. But I can say that that was probably a big part of it. But there was a certain situation where I felt, me and the person did get along really well. We had a lot in common. I can't believe I made that, to be honest. And I thought things were actually going to work out. But again, because of the insecurity that ended up happening and certain things that ended up happening, it just didn't. And it's a shame because not only did we lose kind of that connection, if there was a connection again, because I'm not going to assume. I don't know why I ran through that. We also we did lose the friendship. And that's the thing that sucks about it the most, because, I mean, guys will come and go, girls will come and go. I don't know why. I like hesitated. It's like, I want to jump, I don't want to jump, so. But guys will come and go, girls will come and go, but the things about, friendships, the ones that really meant something, the ones that really actually counted, the ones that actually helped you through things, those are the ones that are the hardest to lose, in my opinion. Because in my experience, because of with the three girls, the three serious relationships, since I did have those experiences, I'm a firm believer that there's not necessarily a soulmate out there for everybody, but it's more of there are more chances for people to actually, connect and actually feel like they're in a relationship. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? That you're not, just because you have one failed relationship doesn't mean you're doomed for life. You lost your soulmate. Because though, the next person you might date might not necessarily be, the same type of girl or guy that you dated before, that's not to mean that that's still not as real, because there's different type of loves. There's enough room in your heart for multiple different people. So just because one is ended, even how much it did hurt, that's not to say that you will never feel that way about anyone else ever again. So I mean, that's just the way I see it. No, and I always hated this castle, because not only do I hate it just because of the build up, but because of the boss here, because the boss here is amazing. No, not really, but yeah. And then again, if she's watching this, I'm not sure if she is, she knows exactly what I'm talking about. And then all I can say is I hope everything's going well with her. And yeah, I mean, I can get all weepy and be like, oh no, blah blah blah, but nah. I mean, I move on as well. I mean, there is another girl that we're talking about that that we're fairly close, and we talk on a daily basis, like all day, every day. I guess we can say we're really high maintenance. And if it works out, works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's life. I'm hoping it does, but I've gotten to the point where I can understand that certain things might fail. So, and there are other ones. I mean, it makes me sound so bad, to be honest, because like, yeah, there's so many other girls, but I mean, honestly, I mean, you live, and if you're not trying to generate relationships, and I'm not talking about relationships like you try to go sleep with everybody, but relationships, if you're not trying to generate friendships, if you're not trying to generate just bonds, then there's really not much point to just living, in my opinion. So, and yeah, but I mean, with that, I think I'm going to cut it there for now. Thank you guys for tuning in. Honestly, these last couple of episodes were kind of hard to talk about, just because, again, a lot of personal stuff, a lot of memories of pain and agony and whatnot. But I hope you guys enjoyed my pain, no. But I hope you guys enjoyed these stories, and next time we'll see what we talk about. So this has been Generation 71, and we'll catch you guys later.